what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would sit down and film a quick update on my brow routine. I've done videos before in the past on how I do my brows. I've also done a video on how to do soap brows. If you guys want to see those, I will link them down below. But over the last couple of months, I've kind of incorporated a few not new, but like slightly tweaked tips and tricks that super duper help me like my brows better. I've been happier with my brows in the last few months than I think I've ever been. When I first started doing like makeup back in the day, I think I was a little bit too heavy-handed with my eyebrows and I liked them big and bold, but at the time I didn't know how to finesse it properly to like make them be like fluffy and bold. And then once I didn't like that anymore, I think for a while I was just kind of timid with them and I didn't make them like as bold as I prefer them because I didn't want them to look unnatural. Now I've kind of learned a few tricks that honestly, like, to me, these are the perfect happy medium between like bushy Cara Delevingne style brows and like super carved out fleeky Instagram brows. And like for my personal preference, that is like the fucking dream brow. All I want is like the exact medium between those. I really like the way a very, very structured brow really helps to carve and structure and chisel the features of my face. I have very round, soft features, so having like a harder brow is very helpful for me looking balanced, I feel. But also, I don't want them to overpower my face because I like I said, have very round features. So when it's like very like, like cut you with your brow, like that kind of looks a little bit too much on me too. So if you are somebody who is looking for somewhere in the middle of the fleeky brow and the bushy brow, I think we're going to be able to help you out today. This is still very similar to my past brow routines, but obviously a lot of you haven't seen my past brow routines. And also I learned a couple little tricks that I think are worth mentioning. I've also started prepping them with a product that I didn't use prior to like 2 months ago, and I think it makes a big difference. So let us zoom all the way in and I will show you one brow and I'm going to leave the other one completely bare so you can see the difference along the way, and then you can see the complete comparison between the unfilled version and the filled in version. Normally, to begin with, I wouldn't put like every last detail of my makeup on before I started my brows. Like I would definitely do my brows before I do my lashes and my lips. But today, because I'm filming like 37 things in a row like I usually do, I did it this way for the sake of convenience. But the reason I bring that up is because I just want you guys to be aware that if you have like fake lashes on or something, sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult to get to the brows because like if you're wearing big ones like this, like if you look up, they actually touch your eyebrows. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue today, but I guess we're gonna see. If I'm on the struggle bus, you guys, now you know why. So the first step that I've been taking lately in my most recent iteration of my brow routine is to put like a waxy brow gel product in to give them a little bit more thickness to the hairs. The product I'm going to use is the Glossier Boy Brow. This is the clear one. And what I do is I just take the spoolie out. As you can see, the spoolie on this is really small. And I literally just run it through my brows in like all directions. Basically, I just want to coat the brow hairs in this because what that does is it gives them some body and it also gives them like a little bit of control so that when I'm working with them, they're actually like workable. It's like putting product in your hair, essentially. And as I'm finishing up combing that through the brow, I basically just comb them kind of upwards, and then at the end, I comb them down, but not down, like more like to the side and down, just like the natural direction that my brows grow, because that's the way I generally want them to sit, like as my brows are living on my face throughout the day. So if I comb them that way before I fill them in, it kind of gives me a good template of where I'm going to fill them. You know what I'm saying? Now that those are all combed in a generally acceptable direction, I'm going to start filling them in. I'm going to use the ABH DipBrow. This is the color Ash Brown. I've been using Ash Brown ever since I did my hair like this blackish off black color because the warmer tones compared to my hair color look fucking nutty. So Ash Brown is the way to go. And I apply that using this Sephora brand small angle brush. And what I do with this is I actually go through my brows and make hair strokes. What I do is I usually put hair strokes starting from the beginning of my brow up until the arch. On the top as well, I do my hair strokes downward on the top, and then I make the tail a little bit more structured. And when you're making hair strokes with your brow gel or your brow pencil, whatever you choose to make those hair-like strokes with, just remember that the base of a hair is always thicker and then it wisps out. I just draw those hairs in the direction that your natural hair grows, and it'll kind of just automatically start to blend in with your real natural brow hair. Now from the center of the arch down, I'm just going to make a straight line underneath where the tail of the brow is to make that tail really strong and defined. And lately I've been bringing it out a little bit longer than my natural brow. When you elongate the eyebrow, it elongates your entire eye shape. So if you want your eyes to look larger, bring your tail of your brow out a little bit further than normal. Experiment with that a little bit. It can really affect the shape of your eye. And I'm just going to brush a little bit of what's left over on the brush through the brow as well. I'm going to define the top of the arch. I actually kind of extend my arch a little bit, so the angle of my natural arch is here on the top, and I'm going to make it here instead. That kind of just lifts it a little bit more and makes this part of the brow longer. Personally, for me, that shape just works better for my face. You kind of have to figure out like what little tweaks you need to make to your brows for it to work for your face personally. Everyone's face shape is different, and every brow is going to be differently flattering depending on your bone structure. This kind of took me a long time to tweak and figure out what I liked best on myself. Sometimes when I'm going for a more natural look, I leave it like this and I don't define the top at all. I just realized I have a blob of DipBrow. But on most days when I'm wearing like a full face of makeup, this is what I do. So I just put a couple more little hair strokes right there that blend into the hair strokes here. And what that does is move the peak of the brow from here where it started to right there. And for the top of the tail of the brow, I just define that with a hard line like I did the underneath of the tail of the bottom of the brow. Now that that's filled into my liking, I'm going to set it with a little bit of brow gel. My brow gel of choice is the Clear Brow Gel from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This one has all of the labels worn off, but I promise that's what it is. This brow gel in particular is like extreme as far as how it holds your brow hairs in place. Like you can pretty much live through a hurricane and your brows are gonna be the same if you use this shit. So that's why it's my favorite. It also doesn't leave any like white cast or anything weird on my brow hairs. Sometimes with having such dark brows, I find that clear brow gels leave like a whiteness to them and then it looks like gray brows, and I'm not trying to have gray brows just yet. So this one is preferable. Another one that I like if you're looking for something a little bit more budget is the NYX, what the hell's the name of it? The other one that I like if you're looking for something a little more budget friendly is the NYX Control Free Clear Brow Gel. And I'm just going to run this through the brows, again, in the direction that the brows grow naturally. I already have a little bit more control over the brow hair because of the boy brow that I put in the beginning. So they really shouldn't really have moved much to begin with, but we'll just correct any that moved around while I was filling them in. And also this will set them for the entire day. The boy brow stays soft, it doesn't harden, so it doesn't really keep your brows in place so much as it just kind of makes them moldable. And as far as having like a natural looking brow, I find that adding something like boy brow or even Benefit Gimme Brow or just something that adds a little bit of a waxy texture is really good for like, it makes the actual hair that you have on your eye look more prominent, so the other parts where you're filling it in don't look as drawn on because there is that much texture there. And to finish that off, here's my last little final trick. I started doing this in the last couple of months and it makes me so much happier with how my brows look overall. What I do is I tip my head back and I look into the mirror from like kind of underneath my brows, and then I go in with a brow pencil and I hit all the places in the middle of my brows where it looks sparse. I find that tipping my head back and looking into the mirror, like I can kind of see where the light is hitting my skin instead of like having a brow hair there in like larger patches, so that way throughout the day when I'm like looking in the mirror from different angles and the light is hitting me in different ways, I kind of have covered a lot more of the sparse patches that I normally miss. For that, I'm going to use my Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color medium brown. And I do use a brow pencil for this that is lighter than my natural brow color and also lighter than the brow pomade that I use, because that makes it look less like a stamp. I'm not trying to make them look like they're perfect. I want them to look like they're made of hair still, but I just don't want there to be like sparse patches. So my head back and I just gently touch it through any place that it looks a little bit sparse. And the reason I do that after my brow gel is because I want to know what the brow is going to look like after it's already set in place, and then fill in those gaps. So there is my natural brow before, and that's what my brows look like when they're filled in. So that's it. That's the whole brow routine. To be honest with you, I have one of the faster brow routines in the world. If you compare it to a lot of other people, I know a lot of people spend like the majority of their makeup time on their brows. You might have to spend more time than me if you have less brow hair than me. I am very, very lucky that most of my brow hair grew back after the early 2000s plucking situation that we all went through. You may need to spend a little bit more time doing your brow strokes if you have less brow hair naturally, or if you've tweezed them away and they never came back. Or you might just prefer to do more, or you might prefer to do less. So kind of adjust it for your own liking, but generally the technique is going to be the same. Don't forget, thicker at the base, flick them out till they're thinner. It's going to look really natural that way. So that's pretty much all for today. Thank you guys for watching as always. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me out and I would very much appreciate it. If you have not already subscribed, please click the button, subscribe, come back, see me again, because if not, I'm judging the shit out of you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, but I really think that you will be happy with your decision. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I am at Miss Quinnface on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, here, there, everywhere. Everywhere that you can imagine I might have a profile, my name is Miss Quinnface on that profile. Mostly you will find me here. You will find me on Instagram. I post there every single day, and I also do Instagram stories pretty much every single day. And if you would like to chat with me for any reason, the easiest way to get in touch with me for that type of thing is Twitter. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if you found this helpful, what you like to do for your brows, if you have any miracle brow products that you would like to recommend to me. And also, if you have any video requests that you would like, please leave those in a comment as well, and I will do my best to film that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.